Hello, everyone. So while other people hop on, just want to preface with this video, we are going to be talking about the clairs. We're going to be talking about the imagination, just like why, when we start to wake up, why do we feel like we're going crazy, basically. And so, hello, I'm Landon, everyone, and I was gonna make this video not live, but figured I might as well do it live. And so if you're watching later, hello, drop a comment so I know who you are. Love to have you here. But yeah, so let's just dive on in. And this is my notes for today. Normally I write pages and pages, but these are my notes. We have the clairs, we have imagination, and we're just gonna see what comes out. So basically, when we start to wake up or awaken our spiritual gifts and abilities, there's a lot of second guessing, because when we are raised in a physical world, when we're raised in this 3D realm based on science and facts, and this is how it is, and anything that isn't that is wrong, false, fake, so we feel like we're going crazy. And so just covering the basis, a lot of times people are like, oh, that's just your imagination, or that's just you're imagining things, that's not it, that's wrong, you didn't actually see that. And so when we think of imagination is our manifestation center. That is what we have been given as humans to manifest this world. We have to imagine, then it goes into creation mode, so we start to plan how to create that, or we put that out there and the universe creates it with us. And that's the imagination. It's our manifestation center. That's how we manifest. That's how we create, is with the imagination. And so when people are like, that's just your imagination, okay, awesome. Well, then I manifested that. That doesn't mean it's fake or false or it wasn't there. And so when I'm thinking about this, I'm like, either spirits, ghosts, auras, however, on the more spiritual side. Or it could have been literally more of a Mandela effect, which, for instance, a few days ago, I was shaving and I put on my last razor. And when I was shaving, I put on the last razor, I went to put everything away, and there were 2 more razors in the box. And so Mandela effect, I could have imagined seeing that it was empty, which is a lot of times people are like, oh, well, I just missed that. Or it's actually a Mandela effect, and you're just like being aware and conscious of what's actually going on. And so it could be the imagination, or it could just be a complete timeline jump. But when we're talking about more of the spiritual abilities and everything, did you see a ghost? Did you not see a ghost? Did you see a spirit, not see a spirit? Did you connect with aliens? Did you not connect with aliens? And so when we're talking about clairs or imagination, these things have been... You are not crazy. Well, all of us are a little crazy. Yes, I agree. But when we're talking about imagination and people are like, well, you just imagined that. Be like, okay, awesome. My imagination, my manifestation center is still working. Because as we grow up, we are forgetting about the imagination. So often, this is why nonfiction books, so not fake books, become so popular in the adults, and fiction novels are for children. Fiction novels are for kids, non-fictions are for adults. I'll see you later. Non-fiction are for adults, fiction are for kids. And so if an adult is reading a fiction novel, they're put, I don't know, there's like this stigma around them that they're childish or they're living in the past or something about these like, why aren't you reading non-fiction books? There's so much to educate yourself on. But when you're reading fiction novels, or when you're activating your imagination, you are actually supporting your manifestation abilities. This is why, for me, I really try to always have a fiction novel on hand, so that I'm always activating that imagination, whether it's through visualizations on my own or interpreting and reading somebody else's imagination through their creation process. Love Harry Potter myself. Always a good one to go back to. But when we are talking more on the imagination level, people are like, well, you just imagined it. Cool, awesome. But then when we dive more into it, we can be clairvoyant, which is clear seeing. And so you're seeing, whether it's physically seeing or you can see with your third eye, that's different for everyone, but you're seeing visually spirits, auras, galactics. You're physically seeing these. You can see energies as well. you're seeing. Or you can be claircognizant, which is knowing, and this is one that I deeply know that I not specialize, but it's the one that I utilize a lot, is just claircognizance, which is clear knowing. And so you just have information pop in. It's just like, oh, cool, I didn't know I knew that, but now I know it, without any background to it. And then there's clairsentient, which is clear, in a sense, clear sensing is how I interpret it, or clear feeling. And so could compare it with empathic abilities. You just completely feel what that person is feeling, as if it's your own, or you just know what they're feeling as well. Or there's clairaudient, which is clear hearing, and so you're going to be hearing connections, hearing voices, you're hearing spirits, hearing sentences. A lot of times people can hear color, can hear the frequencies. That's going to be more of the clairaudient. But when people are talking about the imagination, they're just like, well, that you just imagined that. But if you know, like, no, there was some shadow, there was something in that corner, there was somebody here, you know that happened. It was not the imagination. And just, again, reiterating, our imagination is just a manifestation center. And so even if you did imagine it, you are manifesting it. So if it didn't happen then, it probably will happen sometime in the future. And so when we're comparing and contrasting these, how to know when you are crazy, I don't think we're ever crazy. Everything happens for a reason. And so even if you imagined, like, even if, say for instance, you saw your own shadow and it freaked you out and you're like, oh my gosh, somebody's here, but it was just your own shadow, there's something, but you had that reaction because potentially maybe somebody is around, or you're feeling unsafe in some other aspect. And so all of these things happen for a specific reason. And so we're never going so crazy. We just need to tune in to why the things are happening. And so when we are awakening to our abilities, when we're awakening to these more spiritual aspects and higher consciousness and gifts that we have within our human form, we need to be aware of the whys. Why are things happening? Why is that spirit coming to me? Why am I seeing that person's aura specifically? Perhaps the aura tells you they're really stressed out, and so the sentence comes to mind, hey, it's okay, you'll be fine, take a deep breath. And they need to know that is why you saw the aura. Or you jumped at your shadow, and there's something within your shadow self that needs attention because it is triggering you so much. And so you're never going crazy. Never going crazy. It's just we need to ask why. Why are these things happening? That big question that we all like to avoid, because so often it's just like, oh, that's just how it is. Or that just happened. That's just how it is. And so we haven't been critically thinking as a global society. But now, this year specifically, we are being trained to ask why. Why do I feel that way? Why is this happening? Why have we been shut down for 6 months? Why is this so polarized? Why am I feeling this way? All of these questions. Why do I see that spirit? Why do I know this information? Why do I hear that voice constantly? Why do I smell pumpkin when it's March and I should be smelling, I don't know, leaves or something? Why do I get these senses? Why did I just get a flash when I touched an object? And so asking these why questions and not just passing it off as just something that happened. Asking the why dives in, and it's actually going to grow your abilities. It's going to grow your understanding and that trust within yourself to know the difference between, okay, that was my imagination, manifesting something that I've been avoiding within myself, or that was an actual thing that I need to pay attention to and they've come to me for a reason. And so that's just a little thing that I want to talk about today. You're not going crazy. You just need to ask why that happened and move on. So with that, I am going to post this on my YouTube. If you haven't checked out my YouTube, it has some extra videos that aren't on my Instagram. And then for those on YouTube, give it a big thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe if you haven't. But until then, I will see y'all next time. See ya.